When pain shows up in our lives, it's an indication that something is off. And of course, when we feel pain, we want to find different ways to heal it. And as you well know, pain can show up in a variety of ways. It can show up as discomfort in our body, making it hard to move and go about our day. It can show up as emotional overwhelm, and we can feel things like frustration, anger, depression, anxiety, and it can be prolonged to the point where we can't function anymore. And when this happens, we also notice that our thoughts become painful. We might find ourselves reliving a horrible situation or situations over and over again. We may find that our thoughts and how we think are incredibly toxic, and we can't seem to focus on any one thing. All of these scenarios can be a problem because they prohibit us from being able to live our lives and to experience any type of joy. So in this video, I decided that I was going to go ahead and do a pick a card reading with messages that were geared towards healing. And this isn't necessarily physical healing. This can be emotional healing or mental healing. But there is this interesting thing that science and doctors have put together, and it is that our thoughts absolutely affect our bodies. And a lot of the information that will come up in the 4 different available piles associated with the pick a card reading will all in some way or another focus on our thoughts. It will ask you to evaluate what it is that you've been thinking and to evaluate what you hold precious in your heart. What I would like to advise you to do is to look at the 4 different piles of cards and choose the one that best resonates with you. And if you're looking at the piles and neither of the piles stand out to you, then look at the stones above them. And if one of the stones happens to be your favorite color and you want to gravitate towards that stone, by all means, go ahead. Don't fall into the trap that you can't pick a card because you shouldn't go by the charm or you shouldn't go by the color. The fact that it's your favorite color or one of your favorite stones could actually be an indication that that is the pile that's meant for you. However, if your favorite color or favorite stone is on the board and yet you don't feel drawn to that and you feel drawn to a different pile, then choose that pile. Also, I'd like to remind you that these are general readings, and when you choose a pile and you listen to it, you may find that some of the information jives with you and some of it doesn't. Just go with that. Make note of what makes sense to you and apply it if that is something that you think would be helpful. And then also remember that these readings are not meant to be a substitute for medical or professional care. These are meant to simply be an aid that can help you alongside any type of medical or professional care you may already be receiving. But also keep in mind that I myself am not a health expert. I am not a counselor, psychologist. I'm obviously not a doctor, so I am not a health professional. What you're going to receive from this video is simply peer-to-peer advice. So be smart about it and just remember that. So what I did for this video is I took 3 different oracle decks that were all speaking to me, and I concentrated on this question, on this topic of healing. And as I read the different cards, I'm also channeling information directly from the divine. So if I lay out some cards and I start giving information that seemingly has nothing to do with the cards that I laid out, that's simply because divine spirit took over and I allowed myself, I surrendered to divine spirit so that it could bring forth, or they could bring forth, the messages that would be helpful to you. Now here we have pile 1, and this is represented by this uncut amethyst. Pile 2, which is represented by this beautiful heart-shaped pink quartz. Pile 3, and this beautiful green rock. I can't remember what this one's called. And then we also have pile 4, which is represented by this beautiful yellow gemstone right here. And as usual, I will have the timestamps to each of these piles in the description area down below, and I will also put them in the pinned comments so it's easier for you to find. And also remember, you can absolutely choose more than one pile. You can even go through all 4 of these piles if you so desire, but just make it your reading. And of course, if you would like a personalized reading, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com. But for now, take a nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out, and just make it your intention to open your heart, to open your mind, to give yourself permission to hope and to heal and to see what Divine Spirit has to say to you. So with that intention and with that energy, please choose your pile, find the timestamp for that pile, and enjoy your reading. So this is for those of you who chose pile number 1 or you chose this uncut amethyst. Let's go ahead and take a look at your cards and see what they have to say. So the very first card we have for you is Angel Whispers. So as I am tuning into this card, I feel like this card is asking you to be very quiet, to be very still, to take time to go to that place inside of you where everything is well, where everything is at peace. And as you make the time to clear away space and distractions, and as you go deeper within yourself, you will be able to hear the whispers of the angels, the whispers of your own soul. And in that, you will receive comfort, you will receive compassion, you will receive divine messages that are meant and that are channeled by you and for you. So when we are talking about the healing messages, how you can heal your energy, we see that for you, that starts with getting very quiet and seeking the divinity within so that divinity can whisper back. So that is the first card we have for you. Let's go ahead and dive in to the next cards. And here I have visualization followed by soul healing. So as we are tuning in to these cards, I feel like this card is asking you to visualize the energies around you. And what I mean by that is I want you to just take a moment right now to look all around you. And hopefully you're in a safe environment. Don't do this if you're driving. Keep your eyes on the road if you're driving. But if you're in the office and if you're in your home or if you're someplace where you can just take a moment to look and absorb at the energy all around you, I want you to go ahead and do that now. And then with your eyes closed, keeping in mind what you just saw, I want you to notice that different colors begin to appear. With your eyes closed and with the intention of feeling and seeing the energies around you, not necessarily the environment, but the energy around you. What is it that you see? So this is not a visualization where you visualize the things that you want to manifest in your life. This is a visualization where you are visualizing the energies in your home, in your spirit, in your office, wherever it is that you spend a lot of time, wherever it is that you are right now. So ask Divine Source to open up your third eye, to open up your clairvoyance, even to open up your crown chakra so you can take a peek of the world of spirit, so you can peek at the world of energy. Because when you're able to see the energies around you, you have a better idea of what it is that you're working with on that energetic and spiritual level. The next card that we have for you is Soul Healing. And so this is again reminding you that as you make space for yourself, as you become aware of the energies around you, as you're able to sense them and see them, that will give you the information you need so that you can begin to take a different type of action than maybe what you've been doing before. So if you've been feeling maybe sad or unsure or confused and depressed, Once you're able to see the energies around you, you're able to visualize the colors, you're able to see what's there, you now are able to make some shifts in your energetic field, in your environment, based on what you saw here, and that will facilitate in your soul healing. So if you're seeing a lot of darker colors around you, or maybe you're seeing a lot of red can be passion, but it can also be anger. You will know to start bringing in colors that can combat that. So maybe you start bringing in some white candles. Maybe you start hanging some photos of beautiful places in nature, because we want to start toning the energy of red down. And again, this will facilitate in your soul healing. So let's go ahead and take a look at your last 3 cards. So here we have joy and stability, followed by choose your battles, followed by balance. So joy and stability is what you're after, right? Because when we are joyous and when we feel stable, when we feel secure, we're better able to enjoy life. And if we're feeling stable and if we're joyful, it means that the areas in our lives that have us feeling sad and confused have actually become smaller than those areas that allow us to feel grateful, happy, and loved. So we want to start working to create an energy of that joy and stability. And this card is giving us an idea of how to do that. And it's telling us to choose our battles, choose your battles. What I like about this card and the position that it's in is that it is important to choose your battles, because I believe that we are meant to create. We're all meant to create something. I believe we're all here to master something. We're here for mastery, but I also believe that we are here to stand up for something, to stand up for a form of injustice, or to stand up for something that is completely unfair in normal day life. So this is telling you to choose your battles, because some battles are a waste of time. And many times we know what that might be. I don't want to get too political here, but I will state that in our current political climate, there are people who are very passionate about their beliefs on the right and people who are very passionate about their beliefs on the left. And when these two people join, when these two groups join, and if they begin to talk about politics and who's right and who's wrong, the only thing that ends up happening is people get angry, right? We don't usually see situations in which the right and the left are able to come together and talk about politics and gain any type of results, because all they want to do is point fingers at each other and say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Well, that's probably not a good battle to choose, because all it does is cause both parties to be even more irritated, more angry, and more resentful towards each other. And it causes the individuals in that party to be exhausted, to be frustrated, to feel as if they aren't being heard. So again, that's probably not a good battle to choose, but a good battle to choose might be a battle in which you are extremely passionate about a specific cause. And we are seeing a lot of that happen right now. We are seeing people take a stand against injustice. We are seeing people take a stand against oppression. And so that is something that a lot of people feel passionate about. So if you are a political person, and even if you're not, you can think about a topic in which maybe politics are involved, whether that's the environment, climate change. There's a plethora of different things you can choose. And put your passion, put your energy into that one thing. And remember, you are not gearing up for battle where you want to go to war with someone. You're not trying to cut anyone down. What you're doing is fighting for a cause and trying to make things right. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out and hurt anybody or cut someone down to size. In fact, what it means is that as you go out and you speak to others about your passion, you learn how to influence them and win them to your side. There's a wonderful quote, and I can't remember who said it, but it goes something like this. It says, the best way to get rid of your enemy is to make your enemy your friend. I didn't say that verbatim, but that's the gist of it. And so if we can go out and if we can choose a battle that is worth fighting, then it fuels our passion even more. And we start to feel energized and excited when we win someone over to our side. Because when we choose the smaller battles, or when we even choose the big battles and we can put a lot of our energy behind it, we don't feel drained from it because we know we're standing up for something that matters to us. And when we start to see results of us standing up for that thing or standing up against something else, when we see the results of that, when we see the fruit of that, that makes us feel so good. And I also do believe that we're all here to learn a different lesson. We're all here to learn some type of mastery. I truly believe that. I believe we're here for some type of mastery. And part of mastery is learning how to stand up for yourself, how to defend others, and how to take a stand against things that either aren't for you or aren't well for everyone else. So there's a lot that's involved in that. So choose your battles wisely. And I know that I was using a political topic, kind of us versus them, but the other battle could be smaller battles that you need to win or that you try to win every day. Maybe you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to be perfect. Maybe you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to be everything to everyone or to be everything you need to yourself. And so just kind of relax on that a little bit. Choose the battle that will gain you the most results, right? Choose the battle that's going to, in the end, or at the end of the day even, give you more life-affirming energy. Those are the battles that you need to choose. So they can be big or they can be small. Maybe they're even a mixture of both. But maybe start with the small ones first, okay? And then the last card we have is balance. And so this is an interesting card because we have a male and female, and they are joined together. And I feel like this is talking about the female and male energy that is present in all of us, right? We have masculine tendencies and we have feminine tendencies. And so this is telling us that when we're able to choose our battles, as we pay attention to our soul healing, as we take a look at the energies around us, we are able to create an environment of balance. We are able to create balance within ourselves. And remember, whatever we create within ourselves has a way of expanding. It expands outside of us because the outside world is a reflection of our inner world. But sometimes we do have to adjust our outside environment to make space for our inner self to heal. And that's not something that you hear a lot about in different, I want to say, mystical self-help circles. But change of environment is something that I have found to be very helpful to my own healing. And I know that a lot of other people will find that changing their environment will be helpful to them too. And remember, we're not just talking about the environment in terms of physical things. We're talking about the energetic environment that you're swimming in right now. So if you need to light some candles or maybe burn some incense to lift that energy, be my guest, and make sure that however you're choosing to shift that energy, whatever momentum, whatever practice, whatever method, tools you're using, be sure that it is also simultaneously creating within you a place of balance. That is your reading for those of you who chose group number 1. I do hope that you found this helpful. Remember, if you would like a personalized reading with me, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com and order a reading with me there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. This is for those of you who chose the second pile, or you chose this beautiful pink quartz heart. So let's go ahead and take a look at your cards and see what they have to say. The very first card we have for you is higher thoughts. So we know that this is encouraging you to lift your thoughts to a higher vibration. And that means that you want to start thinking about things that are helpful, not things that drag you down. So just think about that for a second. Get into your head right now. And I want you to think about being your own Debbie Downer. Don't worry, I'm not being negative here. Just bear with me. So if you're being a Debbie Downer in your own mind, what type of thoughts are you having? You're probably saying things to yourself like, it doesn't matter what I do, nothing works out, nothing ever works out well for me. My health will never get better. I'll never find anyone who loves me. I can't seem to get anything done. I never have enough energy. So on and so forth, right? So if those are the type of thoughts that you're having on a consistent basis, then we need to start lifting those thoughts up. And so the way that you can do that is to start thinking about the things that are going right for you instead of the things that are going wrong for you. And you might be thinking that there's not a lot that's going right for you. And that's okay. We can start wherever you're at. You don't need to have a lot that's working in your favor right now. You just need to have a little bit. And you need to start focusing on those things. Now, I'm not talking about positive thinking here, because I actually think that there's a form of positive thinking that can be very damaging and very dangerous. But what I am talking about is allowing yourself to kind of get a break from the negative chatter that's going on in your head, and also paying attention to how that chatter makes you feel. Because when we're able to feel better, we're able to do better. So start with these small positive things that are working in your life and just make a note of those. So instead of saying nothing ever works out right for me, you might decide to say, hey, this shirt actually fits me really well. Or I'm so thankful that I have a wonderful, comfortable bed to sleep in each and every night. So there are some things that are working out for you. So start focusing on that. And then also, when you do contemplate the things that aren't working out for you, there's a couple things that you can do. One is that you can make a list of pros and cons and ask yourself, what are the things that are dragging me down in this situation? What are the consistent thoughts that I'm having about this situation? And is there some type of positive aspect that I'm missing in all of this? Perhaps you're in a difficult situation because you left a relationship. And now that you've left that relationship, you're finding it hard to make ends meet on your own. And that's a very difficult position to be in. I've been there myself. But when we are able to remind ourselves that we made the right decision and we're in a situation now where we're struggling, but that situation's going to change, it's not permanent, we can remind ourselves that, okay, I'm struggling right now, but this is worth it because I gained my freedom. This is worth it because I'm independent again. This is worth it because it's not going to stay that way and I'm not with this toxic person who was overwhelmingly negative or abusive or harmful to me. So start to think about why you might be in that situation and if there is anything that is a potential blessing in that. The second thing you can do is to look at the origin of that situation and ask yourself if you can start making better decisions than you did from that origin point. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say that you're not the best at budgeting your finances And every time your paycheck comes in, you have a lot of money going out. And while some of it is, I would say, necessary, while some of it is going to bills that you obviously need to pay, they're going to necessities like your water bill, your rent, your phone bill, whatever it is. There might be other bills that you're paying that you're very unsatisfied about. Maybe it's a credit card from a shopping spree that you went on. Maybe it is a subscription plan to a television or a streaming video app that maybe you don't necessarily need right now. So just start to think about why you made those decisions, why you made those purchases. Did you make those purchases because you thought they would feel better, but now they're actually making you feel worse? Did you buy those purchases because it didn't seem like a lot of money at the time and you figured you could swing it and you'd be okay? What was going on in your mindset at that time? And the reason this is important is because our thoughts create patterns. So we tend to think the same thoughts over and over again. And if we're thinking the same thoughts, we're making the same decisions, we are forming the same habits, and we're taking the same actions. So if we're stuck in a loop where things aren't going the way that we want them to go for us, then we need to figure out the origin point of those patterns so that we can begin to change them. But first we have to, of course, we have to pinpoint the origination of where that weird behavior, that toxic situation began to take place. So in the situation where you're overspending, you're buying these things that you don't need, you can begin to address the fact that maybe you are buying these things because deep down inside, you feel like you're not enough. So you are trying to have enough. You are trying to purchase or buy or experience something that allowed you to zone out for a bit, so you didn't have to think about the trauma at work, and you didn't have to think about how you're single or in a relationship you're not happy with. You're trying to drown those things out of your mind instead of changing those situations so you don't have to deal with them anymore. So just be cognitive of that. And the way that this can start to help you is that you can look at that behavior and you can say, all right, I'm going to choose to be compassionate with myself because I took this action when I was feeling low. I made this purchase when I needed to feel good about myself, or I was on this purchase when I was excited about something because something really good happened and this just didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. So my plan for the future is going to be that I'm going to budget my entertainment spending to only $10 a month or $50 a month, and I'm going to spend the rest of my time working off this credit card debt. And while it's going to be difficult for now, I know that I have the resilience to stick to it. And in 4 or 5 years, this is going to be worth it because I will be debt-free. So you see how that way of thinking allows you to elevate your thoughts and therefore elevate your energy instead of going, I'm never going to pay off this debt. Like, I'm such a horrible spender. I don't know why I keep doing this. I need to buy this thing to make me feel special. I really want that thing, so I have to have it. Now you're saying, it is worth it for me to have some discipline over the next 2, 3, 4 years so that I can have a clear conscience, so I don't have to have this financial burden hanging over me at every moment of every day, and I can live a life of freedom. I can be debt-free. I can start to create a plan where I can still have a wonderful experience, where I can still have the type of products I need or the things that I want, but I'll do it on a budget and I'll do it on a limited basis. And that's going to make me feel better about myself. So when we start to take better control of our thoughts, we start to trust ourselves more. We start to love ourselves more. And we actually start to feel more adult. We start to feel very good about the decisions we're making because now we can trust ourselves. And when we're able to do that, the rest of our thought processes begin to follow. So if we're able to identify even just one toxic pattern, one origin, and we take care of it, it has a ripple effect, just kind of like what we see in this card. Like if you think about this, this looks like the light is expanding outward, right? It's got a ripple effect. And that's what your thoughts have. Your thoughts have a ripple effect. So ask yourself, are you enjoying the ripples? Are you enjoying a good ripple effect? And if not, start looking at different ways to change that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your next two cards. Move that up there. And so now we have determination and universal light. Okay, so determination really goes in, I feel like it's congruent with this higher thought card that we were just talking about, because yes, you need to have some type of determination to keep moving forward even when things seem dim right now. So determination also has its roots in our ability to discipline ourselves, in our resilience and in our courage. So tell yourself right now, decide right now that you are determined to pave a better future for yourself, and you are determined to start thinking higher thoughts. And the next card we have is universal light. And I feel like this is reminding you that you don't have to force these changes on your own. You can ask the universe to comfort you, to surround you, to bathe you in its universal healing white light. Or actually, it doesn't have to be white. Like pink light is nice and blue light is nice. You know, the universe has a wide spectrum of colors, some colors that we haven't even seen. And so ask the universe to pour waves of light down upon you and all around you so that you can feel supported, so that you can feel safe. And also ask the universe to start shifting the thoughts that you have. Ask it for help in this and it will respond. And remember, you can always ask your angels, your guides, and your guardians for assistance with this too. In fact, your angels and your guides love to whisper beautiful thoughts into your ears, into your mind. So be sure that you give them permission to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your next three cards. Move that up a bit. And here we have change your focus. Oh my gosh. I have to laugh at this because I don't look at these cards before I do these readings. They're new to me just as they are to you. So yeah, there haven't been any peaks or anything like that. So change your focus, which is kind of what we already spoke about, right? Because we're talking about when you're elevating your thoughts, you have to go into the past to find the origin point, because that's really where all those negative thoughts are coming from. And you're changing your focus because you're no longer allowing that origin point to be the center of where your thoughts are coming from now. Now we're changing our focus. Now we're looking to the future. We're looking at what it is that we want with great determination. And we are deciding right now that that is the future you're going to pay for yourself. So we're going to start thinking those different thoughts so that we can have different behaviors and different actions and get into a place that is better for us. Next, we have move. So this is about taking some type of action. So this is amazing because we have thoughts. You know, the universe was saying, okay, first you have to change your thought process. We need you to think higher thoughts. And now you're being invited and encouraged to take action, to make some type of move, to do some type of shift. And shifts and moves and actions are a lot easier when our thoughts are first in the right place. So work on your thought life first, and you can do this through meditation, you can do this through journaling, you can do this through contemplation. And then ask yourself, what small, consistent actions do you need to take? And the reason I'm encouraging you to take small, consistent actions is because so many times when we take a big action and we tell ourselves, I gotta stick to this. I gotta do this big thing every single day. I hate it, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm passionate and I'm excited. Eventually, we start to lose steam. Eventually, we burn out. And if something's not simple, and if we don't love it, we start to give up on it because we don't have the energy to keep up with that type of momentum if we're doing things that we don't like, or if we're doing things that seem bigger than ourselves. So start with those small, consistent steps and build from there. Next card we have is Find Balance. That is so interesting because the last reading I did also ended with a balance card. So finding balance to me is all about finding ways to make everything even out in your life. So you're looking at this point to make things more peaceful. What would make your life more peaceful right now? Because when you think of balance, I want you to think of those two scales, right? So you have those two scales, and if you put something over here that's heavier than the thing that's on this scale, it's going to shift, right? Well, that's out of balance. And vice versa. If something's heavier over here than it is over there, boom, it shifts again out of balance. So we want things to really be even. We want to be pouring out our energy evenly so that we're not feeling overwhelmed or bombarded by any one thing. So what you may want to consider doing is making a little bit of a pie chart, because that's what this looks like to me. Like, this is almost like a pie chart, and it's divided into all these different areas, right? We have time, we have nature, we have relationships, we have, that looks like a little baby, so we've got family, we have knowledge, and we have a cup right here. So to me, this would be emotional growth. So create that pie chart and write down what areas of your life are important to you right now. Is it your physical wellness? And that would be health and wellness, right? So your health. And in that health, what does that include? Does that include eating healthy? Does it include sleeping, getting more hours of sleep each night? What does that look like? And then of course you have career, and you have your finances, and basically all these things that we have here. So ask yourself how you can divvy those things up in a way that brings balance into your life. And remember, when it comes to situations that are difficult, like for a lot of people, their career is both a blessing and a curse, right? Because a lot of people may be on a career path that they don't necessarily love, but it's a career path that allows them to give to the community, to practice their skills, and of course to earn an income so they can pay for their bills and take care of their families. But your career might be something where there's not a lot of peace, where you just feel like you're putting too much time into it and too much of your energy. And so we want to go into that process, into the career, with higher thoughts. If you notice that your career is taking too much of your time and it's cutting into family life, it's cutting into your emotions, it's cutting into study and knowledge, maybe that's your schooling, it's cutting into things that are important to you, then start asking yourself what you can do to make that area of your life more peaceful. How can you bring that into balance with everything else so it's not taking up more of your time and more of your energy than the other places you'd like to put your energy into? You might also notice that you need to spend more of your time on areas that are important to you that you've been neglecting. Maybe you've been neglecting your emotional life. Maybe you have been neglecting your family. Maybe you haven't been putting enough time into your commitments. So just really think about that. Remember, this isn't to make you feel bad. This isn't about judging you. This isn't about anything like that. It's giving you the tools that you require so that you can be more responsible with your life and with your decisions and with your time. Because when you're responsible for those things, it means that you're not allowing outer influences to dictate that for you. if you are responsible with your time and with your decisions, then when your boss comes up to you and says, hey, we need you to stay for another 2 hours, you can say, I'm sorry, I already have plans with my wife, or I need to, pick up my kids from school, or whatever it is. You're not rushing around trying to find someone else to fulfill those responsibilities for you. You are instead creating balance with your work by setting boundaries for your boss and your coworkers and that area of your life too. Because it's really hard for people to set boundaries in career. And that's something that we could probably all do a better job of. And of course, with that said, I do want to put out this little disclaimer, which is be sure that, of course, you're never putting yourself in jeopardy by saying no to your boss, but also if you feel like your boss in your career are putting you in jeopardy, and you may want to start looking into that and considering your other options. So find balance so that you can have some more inner peace. So I hope that this reading was helpful for you. And remember, if you would like a personalized reading with me, I do offer those. You can visit my website at guidingechoes.com to get more information. And I will also put a link to my website where you can order a reading from me in the description area of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. All right, and this is for those of you who chose this lovely green rock right here, or pile number 3. So let's go ahead and dive into your cards and see what they have to say. So the very first card we have is fulfillment. So when we are talking about healing, I feel like this card is reminding you that you are enough. You are already fulfilled with all of the things that you need to encompass your own healing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but I do want to dive into your other cards because I feel like this has a deeper message for you. I'm just not sure what it is yet. So we're going to move that aside and we're going to see what your other cards have to say. So here we have peace, followed by personal power. Okay, so as we're diving into this reading, to me it feels as if you've forgotten your personal power. You have forgotten in some way, shape, or form what it feels like to have authority over your life, to make decisions in your own life. And so what this tells me is that there are other people who have come into your life and they are making decisions for you. And perhaps they really do have your best interest in mind, but when people come into our lives and they start making choices and decisions on our behalf when we are fully capable adults, then of course we feel a loss of power because they're not honoring our sovereignty. They are not honoring the fact that we are beautiful, capable human beings who are here to live out our own life. We are here to make our own choices, to have our own experiences, to live through our own life lessons. And all of those lessons, when they come together, when they're culminated, they help us with our personal growth, and it is through personal growth that we have personal power. Now, even if we make decisions that lead to a result that we're not happy with, and let's be honest, all of us have been there at one point in our lives or another. Actually, we've all been there several times. And the people who are making decisions for us, they're not flawless. They're also capable of making a decision or choice that will lead us down a path where we don't like the results either. So it's very important that you start seeking your own personal power. And if you have to be this aggressive, because this looks pretty aggressive to me, we've got that, that golden hand, right? That fist that's being formed. To me, this also represents determination, but it can also represent getting ready for a fight, right? And so I don't mean a physical fight. This is more like a fight of the wits, a battle of the mind, right? Battle of different minds, actually. So this is about you standing up for yourself, and maybe there's other people you need to stand up for as well, and speaking against the people who are trying to take your freedom away under the guise of being concerned, being compassionate, being kind, being worried, being whatever they are. So stand firm in your personal power. And of course, the first card we have here is peace. And I feel like these two cards contradict each other in such big ways, because I feel like while you're looking for peace and maybe you have moments of it, all I'm feeling from you guys is this conflict. Like there's this inner battle. And, you know, that doesn't really seem to go with this fulfillment card. So I feel like what this card is saying is, of course you want to be fulfilled. Of course you want to feel peaceful. Of course you want to be more intuitive and be more free. And I feel like the answer and some of the advice for that also lies in this card right here, because this card shows the lotus flower. And the lotus flower can also be a symbol for the crown chakra, which is located on the very top of our heads. And as we're looking at this crown chakra, it is in full bloom. It is opening up and it is allowing itself to spread all of this wonderful light out into the universe. And what's beautiful about the crown chakra is that when it opens itself up to give out information, to give out good energy, it also opens itself up so it can receive good energy, so it can receive information and downloads. And so I feel like this card is also telling you to open yourself up to the universe. Open up your crown chakra as much as you can and be open to the information that comes in. But what's really grabbing my attention with this card, as I'm looking at all these beautiful lights and stars that are emanating from it, or of course, I guess it's possible it's coming down, but in my mind's eye, I'm seeing this go up. I feel like what it's saying is you have to get your feelings out. You have to get your intentions out. So how are you feeling? What thoughts are you keeping private? What is it that you want to say that you're not saying? What type of thoughts do you need to be putting out into the universe? What are your intentions? What do you want for your life? What would help you to feel more fulfilled? Because here's the thing, we opened up with this fulfillment card. This is telling us that everything you need is inside of you. But we also see that you're not speaking up. You're not speaking your intention forward. You're allowing others to kind of keep you in the dark and make those decisions for you. And they may be doing this in a way that's outright and easy to see, or it might be more manipulative, where they're kind of messing with your brain and messing with your thoughts and you don't realize this is happening. So start to become very aware of your thoughts, start to become very aware of what you're telling yourself, and become very aware of your intentions. What do you intend for your life? Start putting those thoughts out into the universe so the universe knows what to bring you. All right, so the next few cards we have for you are clarity of belief, the third eye chakra in reverse, and manifest. Very interesting. So clarity of belief is what we were talking about pretty much with this crown chakra card. And clarity of belief is being very clear about what you believe in. So do you even know what you believe in? Do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe in destiny? Do you believe in fate? Do you believe that you're the captain of your own destiny? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your future? Do you believe in your skills? Do you believe in your intuition? Where are your beliefs unclear? Where are they wobbly? You need to get clear about your beliefs so that you can make the transformations that you long for and that you want in your life. Also remember that you could be going through a chrysalis period right now where everything is very uncomfortable and maybe everything is dark, because as the caterpillar enters the cocoon, we know that cocoon is dark. And as that caterpillar is changing into the butterfly, he needs to have that struggle of his wings pressing against the walls of that cocoon as he is emerging from it, because that's what gets the blood to flow. That's what gives him strength in his wings so that he can fly away. And if someone takes that struggle away from him and someone opens up that cocoon, that butterfly is just going to fall and he's going to die because he hasn't exercised his wings. He hasn't built strength in them. He hasn't gotten the blood flowing. So you could be in that stage right now, which is why you need to get a little aggressive, get assertive, acknowledge your power, and start making waves. Not in a bad way. I'm not telling you to go pick a fight for the sake of picking a fight, but I am encouraging you to start standing up for yourself. And do this safely. If you're in an abusive relationship where you're being physically abused and whatnot, I want you to find very safe ways of standing up for yourself. And a safe way of standing up for yourself may be that you have to wait for your partner to leave before you pack up your things and you go somewhere else. That's a way of standing up for yourself. So be very smart in how you do this. And know that the reason that you're going through this hardship now is so that, like the butterfly, you can gain the strength and the resilience and really the power that you need to make these lasting changes. So your struggle is not without purpose. So again, get clear on your beliefs, get clear on what you want, figure out the best beliefs that will help you to believe in yourself so you can start moving forward. The next card we have is the third eye chakra in reverse. And as I'm tuning into this card, I feel like it's saying, don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you see. And I feel like this card came up the way that it did is because this is not about your intuitive vision. So this is not about clairvoyance. This is about you not believing what you physically see. And here's what I mean by that. Sometimes people will come into your life and they will seem like very sweet, very caring, very nice people. And the more you get to know them, the more you realize they're not that sweet. They're not that nice. They're not that kind. And maybe when you first meet them, you feel like something's off with them, but you give them a chance because, again, they're sweet, they're kind, they seem compassionate, they seem loving, they seem to care. They ask all the right questions. They ask you about yourself and you're like, wow, I really feel heard by this person. But as you start to know that person some more, you just start to get a weird feeling about them. And instead of listening to that feeling, you continue down the road of cultivating this friendship. And the deeper down the road you go, you start to notice these little things, like this person starts to make these backhanded comments towards you. Or you start to feel like you're being used, or you start to feel like you're being manipulated, and you stand up for yourself, as we saw in this card. They, of course, gaslight you. How could you accuse me of using you? How could you say that about me? I can't believe you'd even think I'm capable of X, Y, Z. And then you feel bad, right? So this card is telling you, don't trust what you see with your eyes. Pay attention to what you're feeling in your heart. Pay attention to what you're feeling in your gut, because your heart and your gut are finely tuned to recognize danger. And sometimes our intuition recognizes danger before we do. And our intuition is brilliant at recognizing facades, at recognizing glamours. This might show up in different ways where maybe we want to move and we find the house of our dreams, but we walk through this house and we feel like something's off. We feel like something's wrong. Or there's this opportunity that pops into our lap and it seems too good to be true and everything looks great on paper, everything looks great in the images, but something feels off. Don't trust your sight, trust your heart. Your heart knows when there's danger present. And this isn't fear that's talking, this is intuition. Fear and intuition often have the same voice. And it's why people start to distrust their intuition, because they distrust their fears. So it does take practice to allow your intuition and your fear to work together. But here's what you need to remember is your fear and your intuition, they just want to protect you. They always want to protect you. And that's where fear can be very beneficial, because fear doesn't want you to get hurt. So fear is going to protect you as much as it can from situations where there could be danger. So pay attention to that. The next card I have for you, and really the last card I have for you, is manifest. And so I love how all of this came together for you, because we started with clarity of belief. We started with your third eye chakra in reverse, saying, don't believe your physical eyes. Don't believe the facade people are putting on for you. Trust your heart. And we also have manifest. And this is reminding you that you're manifesting everything in your life. You're doing it right now. So this isn't saying that you're going to manifest something great. It's not saying you're going to manifest something bad. It's saying you are manifesting right now. So what do you want your life experience to be? What do you want to manifest? And that goes back to this, clarity of belief. That's why this is so important. And looking at your cards, we already know that you want to manifest experiences where you feel fulfilled, and you also want to manifest a peaceful situation. And for many of you, I feel like this is peace, not just in your life, but I feel like so many of you, this is either career or home. So as you go about your day today, and as you're about to lay your beautiful head down to sleep on your wonderful, luxurious pillow in your very soft, warm bed, really think about what you want for your life. Think about how it would look like if you stood up for yourself, if you believed in yourself, if you started to make choices and decisions that were in your favor. And give yourself permission to visualize what your future life could look like if you began to believe in that future, if you started to take small steps towards that reality. And some of you may be watching this and saying, Nicole, I asked for a healing message. How is this showing up in healing? Well, if you're looking for physical healing, the same rules apply, right? The same rules apply. You may have to stand up for yourself when it comes to people who are making you feel bad for feeling bad. There might be people who are saying things to you like, oh, you're always sick, or you're going in for another procedure. Why are you scared? You should be used to it by now. This is about you standing up and telling people that that type of talk is not supportive, therefore it's not allowed. People don't need to be treating you that way. You can also start adopting affirmations and thoughts that allow you to feel better, or that start paving the way for a healthier you, right? And the third eye chakra in reverse might be saying, don't believe every ad for every medication that you see on TV or every herbal supplements or whatever it is. Pay attention to your gut. Pay attention to your heart instinct. And then also manifest. What thoughts, what actions would help you to manifest good health, to manifest healing? So my friends, I hope that you found this reading helpful. And remember, if you'd like a personalized reading with me, you can definitely set that up. Just go to my website at guidingechoes.com. Click on the Work With Me section on the top of the page, and that'll take you to my online scheduler. So I do hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. This is for those of you who chose group 4, or you chose this beautiful yellow stone. Let's go ahead and take a look at your cards to see what your healing message is. The very first card we have for you is opportunity. So I feel like this card is asking you, have you seized every opportunity made available to you in order for you to heal? Sometimes we get really down on ourselves, and sometimes we even get physically sick because we get so frustrated by all the opportunities we've missed in life and by all the opportunities that have passed us by. We start to look at others and we think life is so much easier for them than it is for me, and that just isn't fair. Why are all these other people gaining all these amazing opportunities that are seemingly falling into their lap, and I'm the one who's struggling? It's just not fair. And the problem is when our thoughts start to migrate towards that path where we think everyone else has it easier than us and life's unfair only to us, what happens is that we separate ourselves from the suffering of other human beings, because we've now told the story that everyone else has opportunity, everyone else is favored by the universe, but we're set aside. We're the only ones who know what it feels like to suffer. Maybe you are dealing with a certain type of suffering that other people haven't been through before. So maybe they're not compassionate. Maybe they don't understand your struggle. That could very well be the truth of your situation. But on the flip side, those people who are uncompassionate to you, who haven't experienced your form of suffering, have suffered in other areas of their life. They have experienced loss. They have experienced maybe different health issues. They've experienced a different type of stress with their career. They've experienced really horrible situations within their relationships and friendships. So the people outside of you who seem to be doing better than you have had situations in their life and have had seasons in life where they weren't doing good either. And if they haven't been through that type of season, guess what? They will at some point in their life. So instead of looking at everyone as if they have all these opportunities that you've never had and they don't know what it's like to suffer as much as you have, maybe it's better to acknowledge that everyone suffers, that everyone feels pain, that everyone's been disappointed in some way, shape, or form. And maybe in that thought and in that recognition, you can begin to feel some form of consolement. You can feel as if you're not alone, because knowing that others have suffered means that you're not alone in this experience, because others have had it too. And yes, granted, the circumstances may be different, even the severity may be different, but everyone suffers. So keeping that in mind, you may want to acknowledge that although other people have suffered, somehow they've been able to hold on to these amazing opportunities that have come their way. And if they can do it, guess what? So can you. So can you. So the same opportunities that you see falling into the lap of other people, the same opportunities that seem to be making themselves available to others, may not have your name on it. You may not get those same opportunities because they're not meant for you, but that doesn't mean that other opportunities can't present themselves. They absolutely will. So just keep that in mind, that everyone who suffers can also find windows of joy, moments of joy, seasons of pleasure, because opportunities do have a way of finding us, of finding you. So just be open to that, right? So remember that the opportunities you've lost in the past, whether they were lost because you made a poor decision or someone made a poor decision on your point, maybe you lost an opportunity because your health wasn't doing good or your mental capacity was limited at the time. Maybe you fight depression or anxiety or some type of emotional and mental challenge that other people don't quite understand. Maybe you have missed opportunities in the past, but don't let that be an excuse for you to miss opportunities in the present and in the future, because opportunities are available to you. So again, this card is asking you, are you making yourself available to the opportunities that want to come in, to opportunities that will offer you health and healing and joy and love and fulfillment? Just make it your intention to be available for those opportunities when they show up. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your other cards. 2 more cards here. And here we have Inner Strength and Divine Wisdom. Okay, so I feel like these cards are now telling you how opportunities for healing can show up for you. And the first one is recognizing your inner strength. Where are you the strongest? What characteristics, what values, what temperaments even are the strongest within you? Are you somebody who is extremely loyal? That can be a strength. Are you someone who is very firm in his or her convictions? Are you someone who will stand up for yourself or stand up for your friends in the face of injustice? Are you someone who has an excellent health care regimen that you follow on a daily basis? What are your strengths? Maybe routines are your strengths. So really take some time to acknowledge that about yourself, because when we are familiar with our inner strengths and when we truly embrace them and focus on them, there's this amazing thing that happens. And those inner strengths within us become even stronger. When we focus on the areas that we're strong in and we make those areas even stronger, then it has this ripple effect where other areas of our life seem to get better as well. So the areas that we may be weak on, the areas where we might have poor thoughts about ourselves and poor self-esteem, those would just gently start to fade away on their own, because we're no longer focused on that. We're focused on our inner strength. We are focused on the things that we already know we're great at. We already know that we will not waver in. And we know that those are things that are special about us. So we focus on that and we expand those things instead. The next card we have for you is Divine Wisdom. And this is about you connecting to the divine to gain the wisdom and the insight and the knowledge that you need in order to be better, to be a better version of you. So many times we are tempted, and I'm guilty of this too, of going outside of ourselves, right? And remember, we have inner strength, which is inside of us, divine wisdom, which is also inside of us, because we are all children of the divine. We are all birthed through that same divine spark. So the divine doesn't exist only outside of you. The divine exists inside of you as well. And the temptation is for us to abandon the divine within us and to seek the help and sometimes even the criticism to our own detriment of other people, right? We seek the approval of others. We look for the wisdom and the knowledge of others. And I don't know about you, but so many times when I've done this, the person that I go to for help ends up telling me what I already know. And that can be validating and it can be helpful, because when somebody tells us what we already know, it just gives us that feeling of, okay, whew, I am on the right track. Like, my mind isn't broken after all. I do have a good plan of action. But it also gives us that moment of, I want to say, friendship, where we feel like we've actually made a connection with someone, where we feel less alone. And that can be very powerful as well. But it also goes to prove that we already had that wisdom inside of us. So this is just a reminder to give yourself permission to be still, to seek divine wisdom in ways that make sense to you. Maybe that looks like you going within and meditating and connecting with the divine through prayer or visualizations, or through the quietness of your own mind. Perhaps it does look like opening a book and reading some type of spiritual book. Maybe it's a book like Conversations with God, or Wishes Fulfilled by Wayne Dyer, or You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. There's so many different books out there that allow us to quiet our mind and absorb beautiful wisdom. So if you do feel the need to seek out others because you do feel lost and you're like, Nicole, I hear you, but I feel really lost right now. Like I've sat down and I've meditated and I just feel like nothing is coming up and it's so frustrating. My advice to you is to allow your angels and guides to bring you the resources that are helpful to you. Because the divine has this magnificent way of bringing us exactly what we need at the right time. And that can look like an intuitive push that you feel towards a certain area. So for example, maybe one day you're feeling particularly down and all of a sudden you have this urge to go to Barnes & Noble or some bookstore. Or you have this urge to look up a blog that you haven't looked up in a really long time. You know, there's going to be something intuitive, some type of hint that you get, some type of pull that you receive or push that you receive that's going to put you in the right direction so that you can get access to the resources that you need.
So first of all, we have awaiting results. That's an interesting card. We have nurture in reverse, and then we also have control. Okay, how very interesting. So it would seem that many of you who chose this pile are possibly going through some physical health issues, and some of you are waiting to see if you're actually pregnant, so congrats on that. But for the rest of you, I do see awaiting results being health oriented. And I'm not really getting a message out of this. I feel like this is more, I feel like this came up to validate to you that you did in fact choose the right pile. So this is the universe saying, yes, we know that you're waiting for the test results. We know that you're waiting for an answer from your doctor. We know that you're waiting to find out what type of medication you should be on. We know you're awaiting those results, okay? The next card we have is Nurture in Reverse, and I feel like this is in reverse because this is the universe calling you out, gently of course, and it's basically saying to you, hey, we're watching you, we love you, we care about you, and we're really concerned because you're not taking very good care of yourself. We're watching you, and we love you, and we're concerned because you're not thinking the best thoughts right now. You're not being kind to yourself. You've abandoned some really healthy habits and some really healthy options that could make you feel better. And you know that they could make you feel better because they've made you feel great in the past. We're concerned because you're not giving yourself permission to laugh and to love anymore. Everything about your life right now has been about stress, has been about worry. And while we validate and acknowledge that you have the right to feel that way, we're concerned because it seems like that's all you're allowing yourself to feel. So while we hear your prayers and we hear your cries, and some of you are even begging for help, you're so caught up in abandoning yourself and your well-being that there's not a lot that we can do. Because every choice you make and how you treat others and how you treat yourself is a vote for how you want the universe to treat you as well. Let me repeat that. How you treat others and how you treat yourself is a vote for how you want the universe to treat you as well. So if you're not taking care of yourself and you're asking us for help, that confuses us on some level because you're not even taking proper care of yourself in even the simplest ways. We're not asking you to take huge jumps of faith. We're not asking you to do things that are huge. We're asking you, and we're concerned about you because you're not taking even the smallest steps towards actions that could really change your life around for the better. So that's what the universe is saying to you right now regarding how you're treating yourself. You're not nurturing yourself. You're not nourishing yourself. And that's a problem. So you tuned into this reading, right? You clicked on this pile, you clicked on this video because you want a healing message and you want to feel better. And the universe is saying to you, we would love for you to feel better. Oh my gosh, we would love for you to get well, but you need to meet us not even halfway, but just a third of the way. We can help from there, but we need you to take some action too. You can't be all lip service and no action. It doesn't work that way. You have to meet us somewhere. So meet us here now. Make it your choice. Make it your intention. Make it a conscious and intuitive decision. So you're going to start doing small things to make yourself feel better. And maybe those small things are journaling. Maybe the small things is thinking better thoughts. Maybe, and I'm hearing this, maybe that small thing is that you stop telling yourself that the universe doesn't love you, that your angels, while they're there, have somehow abandoned you. And stop telling yourself that you don't care about the things that you do care about. That's sending the wrong message. That's one of the reasons why your body is getting sick, because your mind is saying one thing, your emotions are saying one thing, but your lips are conveying something else. So when you do care about something and you're like, well, I don't care if so-and-so XYZ, and really the truth is, I care about this very much and this pains me. Well, that's one of the reasons why your body is holding extra tension, because in some way you're lying. You don't want this thing to hurt you. You don't want this situation to be one that you care about. And so you're saying you don't care about it, but that's not true, is it? So have integrity even in the things that are uncomfortable. Be honest about what's bothering you. Be honest about what's hurting you. Be honest about the things that you care about. Not caring is not a strength. Not caring is not a strength. Not caring quite possibly puts you in the same category as people who have no conscience. And that's not who you are. So wanting to put yourself in the same category as someone who has no conscience is putting yourself in a basket that is in complete opposition to who and what you are. And who and what you are is a beautiful, intuitive person, worthy of every gorgeous, beautiful blessing that the universe has in store for you. And your higher self wants to start working with you more. So pay attention to that as well. Pay attention to the ways that your higher self tugs at your heart, whispers in your ear, tickles your head. And I say tickles your head because I feel like this light touch on your scalp, your head chakra. Some of you get goosebumps. There's different ways that your higher self is talking to you, but your higher self is your conscience. And your higher self has been giving you messages. And I think it's just been really hard for you to hear those messages, because sometimes those messages of well-being are in opposition to what we're experiencing, right? So it's difficult. It's confusing. I'll give you that. So the last card is control. And I'm actually getting two messages from this card which seem to be in conflict with each other. They're really not, but it seems that way, and I will explain. So the two messages I'm getting from this card is to release control, but I'm also hearing to accept responsibility in the areas of your life that you can control. So the actual message here is to accept that there are some areas of your life and some areas in other people's life that you have no control over. And I know this is scary because it feels like a game of chance, right? Because in my mind's eye, I'm seeing like a rolling of the dice. So when we're not in control of something, when we feel like we have no influence, and it's true sometimes that we have no influence on something, it feels like we are just taking our chances, right? It's the roll of the dice, which means it is up to pure dumb luck. And we don't like that feeling, right? It's like we're gambling. But we're not gambling, because the truth is, and the reality is, there are some things that we have no control over. And so we have to allow the energy of those experiences, of those situations to play out. We have no other choice. And when we try to have control in a situation that we really have no control of, we're just adding more stress to ourselves. We're adding more stress to our minds, to our bodies, to the energy of that thing itself, because that's energy we could be putting somewhere else that's far more productive. So let go of the things that you have no control over. You don't have to control everything. You just need to be responsible for the areas of your life you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you do have control over. Now, for some of you who are having actual health issues, and this could be a disease or an illness that you're facing, you might be interpreting this as, Nicole, I don't have any control over my body right now. It hurts. I don't know how to turn down the pain. I'm doing what the doctors have told me. I'm at my wit's end. I hear you. I hear you on that. I'm not going to try to convince you that you're having a different experience than what you're having. I'm not going to try to convince you that your body is okay, because you're the one who lives in that vessel. You're the one who knows what's taking place inside of it. But what I would encourage you to do is to look outside of that even. So if your body has been hurting, or maybe you have something like seasonal affectiveness disorder, you're starting to get depressed, or there's something like that taking place, just accept that. You don't have to like it. But what I find is that when I go through moments of my depression, or even when I have really bad headaches, which I get from time to time, when I try to push through that, I actually end up feeling worse. But when I simply accept that that is my current reality, and I just kind of give into it, and I just acknowledge, like, all right, I guess I'm going through a season of depression right now, or okay, I guess I've had a migraine for a couple days, like this is going to be my life for a few days or a few hours or whatever it is. Just accepting that, and even accepting that I don't feel good, accepting the pain, there's some type of relief in that, because I'm not fighting anything anymore. It's almost as if I've given myself permission to just float on the sea of life. I'm not swimming against the current. I'm just floating. I'm allowing my body to do what it needs to do. And I am allowing my body to feel pain if that's what the sensation it believes it needs to feel right now. I just allow it, right? So I would encourage you to do the same thing. But in that allowing, there's still different places that I'm putting my energy in that I wouldn't say makes me feel good, but helps me to cope, and at least helps me to get through that season of being uncomfortable. So I might watch different movies that allow me to laugh. I might go on YouTube and look up different videos from Michael McIntyre because I think he's absolutely hilarious. I might start to pull some cards for myself. I might chat with a friend. I might read a different book. I might take a new online course. And if while I'm doing those things, my headache becomes too much, or my depression is too, it's stronger than me at that moment, and I can't pay attention and I lose focus, then I close the book. Then I stop watching the movie. Then I turn off the YouTube video. Then maybe I take a nap. Maybe I pray. Maybe I put on some essential oils. Maybe I take a bath. There's always something that you can do in your favor, right? There's always some type of action that you can take that is a vote for self-love. Because again, every action you take towards yourself is a vote for how you want the universe to treat you as well. So if you start treating yourself with honor, if you start treating yourself as someone you truly care about, then the universe starts to answer in kind. It may take a while for the universe to answer in kind because maybe you've built up a habit and an energy of the opposite being true. So just be patient with the process, right? Be very patient. The universe is patient with us. We need to be patient with the universe because the universe is only responding to the experiences we've had, to the collective thought process, not just of us, but of basically everyone in the universe, including our group of friends or even our group of people who pretend to be our friends. You very rarely do we really know what people think about us. And so just be mindful that change takes time, right? Change takes time. So don't try to rush this. Just take your time through it and know that you are divinely loved and the universe does want to heal you. But you have to start honoring, loving, and treating yourself with respect in order for that to start happening. So I do hope that this reading was helpful for you. If you would like a personalized reading, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com. And of course, if this is one of your first times watching one of my videos, I would like to welcome you to the Guiding Echoes community. And of course, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Be sure you hit that bell icon too so you can be notified when I release new videos in the future. Thank you for watching this, my friends. Stay safe and be blessed. I'll see you next time.